Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to Ask Kava. All right, I didn't quite manage every week, but we're getting back into the swing of things. So I am Kava Mahler. If this is the first time you're tuning in, I'm a practitioner of Chinese medicine and an expert in using Chinese astrology to improve communication between people. And I'm here today to answer a question, and that question is, but what about wood dragons? Because I did a video a while back, months ago, on metal dragons, and someone had a specific issue with communicating. I believe it was with a coworker. I don't really remember at this point, possibly a customer. But in any case, after that, I was asked by someone who wanted to hear about wood dragons. So here we are. So the year of the wood dragon was 1964. We're going to be looking at both halves of the year. So the first half of the year starts the 13th of February, 1964, until the 7th of August of that same year. So anyone who was born before the 13th of February was not actually born in the year of the dragon, but was born in the year of the rabbit. Comes before dragon. One of the reasons that some people sometimes have issues finding the Chinese zodiac system helpful is because people who were born in January and February might find themselves being counted in the wrong year. And then, of course, obviously, the information that's pertinent to a rabbit and to a dragon are very, very different. And so you might not end up with actually the most helpful information. So this is the first half of the year, and then the year of the dragon continues until the second half of the year is the 8th of August, 2064 to the 2nd of February, 2065. So again, until the 2nd of February, beginning of 2065 is still a year of the dragon. And then after that, it will be the year of the snake. I'm pretty sure that I have not screwed up any of these numbers so far, which is very impressive for me because I do have some issues with numbers. If at any point I say something that is different than what's written here on the screen, then go with what's written down, because that I can double check when I'm talking. Sometimes things come out a bit wonky. This is just with numbers, not with any other information. Let me just share all of my issues with the internet. Okay, so wood dragon. So the main energies that we have in this year are, we have, first of all, this one in bold is the stem energy. So that represents really the drive that a person has, like what they feel like they have to be doing in order to be contributing to the world the way they were meant to. So you could say it's what someone feels their mission in life is. So in this case, the stem energy for the wood dragon is, it's this wood energy. All of these little abbreviations actually represent the names of organs, because in traditional Chinese astrology, it started out being used for agriculture and then was used for medicine, and only later became used for these more like interpersonal type things. It started out really, when used on people, as a system to try and understand what was going on inside a person's body, what diseases a person would be more likely to suffer, what their recovery time would be like from different issues, and matching breathing exercises or herbs to a person's physical condition. And later on, due to the understanding that human beings are holistic, and that the body and mind and soul, or the emotions, or whatever you want to call it, all influence each other and are influenced by each other, they started being used for these less physical issues, like how do I talk to my mother-in-law, or how do I get my boss to agree to my proposal? But the terminology that we have comes from a time when, again, it was used initially for physical things. And so when we use these terms like gallbladder, stomach, small intestine, and bladder, which are the organs that we're seeing here, Those don't necessarily represent the actual physical organ that's located here. I remember anatomy. Now that you can see it on screen. Anyway, not talking necessarily about a physical gallbladder, but rather about the the psychological and energetic characteristics that were in the past associated with the organ of the gallbladder. In the same way, for example, in English, we might say that someone is getting on my nerves, or talk about someone's heart being very full. And I can't think of any modern sayings about spleens or livers, but they certainly exist. You can say that someone has a lot of spleen or is very full of spleen when someone has a tendency to get angry. In the Bible, I think in Psalms, God is referred to as the one who can read the innermost emotions of the kidneys. And so all throughout history and in different cultures, people have associated certain physical experiences in the body with psychological conditions or with emotions, which makes sense because emotions are hormones. Emotions are things that happen in the body. Our psychology is also something that happens in the body, it happens in our brain, in our nervous system. And anyway, long story short, when we say gallbladder, what we really mean is a person's drive to start things, to begin things, to help things grow, sorry, I just put this ball for my cat so that she will go away and not climb on the computer. The gallbladder is the organ, or the name gallbladder represents the psychological aspect of a person, which is all about beginning and doing things that are new, doing things that were not necessarily done before. The energy that lets you take the step out of the safe place into the unknown. And so that energy, that gallbladder, which represents the yang wood energy. So the wood energy is the energy of growth, potential, of imagination, of creativity, and the yang aspect of it being the very outward facing and energetic aspect of it. What we're looking at here is this gallbladder energy really is the drive to begin things, to do things, to create, start something new, or to bring something into existence that did not exist before. Now, what we're seeing is that the gallbladder energy, which, like I said, is the yang wood energy. It's wood energy. It's not located here in the wood. All of that wood energy is sitting here in the earth. And what that means is that this wood energy is being nurtured and supported by the earth. The tree isn't going to grow if it's not rooted firmly in a safe and secure foundation. And so this combination of energies, the gallbladder energy found in the earth energy, means that the gallbladder is really being given everything that it needs to do the work that it wants to do, which is to create new things and to bring things into existence. And so people who have this gallbladder in earth energy are generally people who not that they're not creative themselves, they are creative themselves, but also people who foster creativity or progress or growth in others. So these tend to be people who go into teaching or coaching or managing, or if their job doesn't necessarily involve nurturing growth in others, then they might volunteer with youth programs or teach the elderly to use computers so that they can connect to their children. But there are people who are always trying to help others grow and to be better versions of themselves, or they're trying to create space for new things to exist, and those new things can also be new aspects of people around. So gallbladder and earth people, like I said, large number of coaches, weirdly large number of Pilates and yoga instructors. I mean, weird to me, just because it's really statistically out there, based on the number of Pilates and yoga instructors I know, which is quite a few. Teachers, and so on and so forth. And then together with that, we have the dragon, where the dragon is associated also with the earth energy and with the yang earth energy. And the dragon really represents this desire to collect and to I'm trying to think of a non-pejorative way to say this, because like hoard, acquire. Dragons understand the value of material goods. They understand that the value in material goods is that gives them the ability to provide for the people they see themselves as responsible for. And so dragons, as a general rule, want money. They want a nice place to live. They want a kitchen full of food, and they want a lot of material good in order that they can give it to other people. So if you think about the traditional image of a dragon, I guess more of a Chinese and a Western dragon, but even when you think of the Western image of the dragon is a being of immense strength, which can be very dangerous. It goes out and acquires the things and collects the things that it sees as precious to it, and keeps those things in a place where they will be safe. The dragon protects treasure. And so when we're talking about a person who's born in the year of the dragon, psychological trait that we really see very strongly with them is that they tend to want to gather people in and take care of those people and keep them safe. So dragons might be people who are very invested in making sure that everyone comes to, to the holiday supper with the family, or the person who stays on top of calling everyone and staying in touch with them. But really in their ideal world, they want someone to be there so that they can take care of them, make sure they're safe, make sure they're eating enough, make sure that they're not stealing someone's jacket. And sorry about that. And yes, so dragons are really all about taking care of others, but doing it from a position of strength and the ability to provide. So I sometimes refer to a dragon, they're not necessarily mother nature, they're father nature. They're like, they have all of this, or father earth. They have all of this desire and ability to nourish and to care for, but they're doing it with a very, what would be in archetypal terms, the very masculine way of doing so. They go out, they're active, they gather people in, they protect people. So it's not just nourishing and taking care of necessarily the nuclear family in the home. They want to gather in everyone that they see as under their care and take care of them. Okay, what else we see here is that what the dragon wants to get from others, what we call the supporting energy, is water energy, where water represents the ability to hold things, to absorb. The water is infinite and it provides infinite space, and it accepts things into it no matter what shape they are. And so what dragons really want to receive from others is that space and that openness and the ability to be themselves and to just be accepted as who they are, to be present with others, to be together with others, to be listened to when they want to talk. And so someone asked me once about, like, can we match each psychological type in Chinese medicine up with the 5 love languages? And often we can't, because I think those have more to do in some ways with the person's experiences growing up and how they learned that affection is expressed. But I think with dragons, we can safely say that spending quality time together is probably the love language of every dragon I've run So the dragons were born in the first half of the year. You can see I'm not going to go into every single organ and what they all mean. You can see that all of the energy here is located in the outside of the circle. That means that all of this is yang energy. So the first half of the year is very, very strong with, again, with what is archetypally considered to be that masculine energy. So that's possibly more active, more outgoing, more dominating in the nicest possible way and for everyone's own good, obviously. The organs that we don't see represented here in any part are the metal organs. We do have some deep energy, and I'm not going to go into that this week, maybe sometime if people are interested. But what we don't have any real representation of the metal. We do have wood, even though this looks empty, because remember this here, the gallbladder is located in the wood, but we don't have any representation of the metal at the level of day-to-day life, as it were. And so that can lead to there being issues with boundaries, with decision-making, with maybe clarity, the ability to kind of focus in on what's important and ignore the rest. And so this isn't necessarily someone who is doomed to always be bad at boundaries, but there's no innate talent in that direction. So it's not doomed forevermore, but this is an area you may need to work on and may not come as naturally to you as other people. Now, if we look at the second half of the year, we can see that the main difference is that we have more yin energy. We have different organs here. Yeah, not going to get into all of the different parts here. I think that's a whole class. But if we compare the two, so going back to the first half, everything is in the outer circle. It's all yang energy. Second half, we still have the gallbladder, we still have the dragon, we still have the water as the supporting energy, but we also have some organ energy and some deep energy in the yin. And so this is a dragon, or these people are dragons who have a bit more balance between the yang and the yin energy. They're still, overall, it's a yang year, both the root and both the stem and the branch energy are yang. The dragon is obviously yang, the gallbladder is yang, all of that forceful, creative energy. But here it is balanced out by the yin energy. So here we have a dragon who's maybe a bit better at boundaries, giving a little more space for other people to express themselves within the dragon's horde. But what we have is what we don't have, what we're missing are the water organs. There's no representation of the water organs. Again, we have a little bit of deep energy. It's not completely empty, but we don't have any representation of the water at this level of like everyday life and just getting along. And so what that can lead to is issues with feeling that the person has enough space for themselves, or being willing to take up space. And so this can really be, maybe if you picture more of a parent who's giving away their energy to everyone else and isn't saving any for themselves for something that's just for them. That can be an issue with these dragons. So these dragons, the second half of the year, wood dragons can have issues with, again, feeling that like they have the space to express themselves or keeping something back that's just for them. So things like, having I've forgotten the word in English, like class that you go to, like a friend of mine has her pottery class. Cannot miss her pottery class. She's got work, she's got kids, she's got a husband, she's got parents, but her pottery class is her space. Or, another parent I know who has, actually, yeah, dragon parent I know who has a kid with special needs. Water is her supporting energy, and she tries to go to the pool once a week, even though she's got, again, she works with kids with special needs. She has a kid with special needs. Her husband's self-employed, but she knows that she needs to maintain this space for herself. And that's something that people who don't have this water representation can have a really hard time remembering or bothering to make space for, or understanding how important it is. And so for both dragons, supporting energy here is water. Both dragons also have a tendency to put other people's needs first. But the second half of the year dragon is someone who really might need a bit more help understanding that they, and especially she, needs to keep some space for herself, needs to be able to put herself first in some instances, to talk about what's going on with her and not just being there for everyone else. And it can be hard for these wood dragon types, because what they really want to do, like what they feel driven to do, what makes them feel like they're living their best life, is to take care of other people. And so it can kind of feel counterintuitive, like you're saying, I shouldn't do what I love in order to be more true to myself. But even if what you love is taking care of other people, you do still need some time to be just you. If you can't be healthy being just you, then you can't be healthy being with others as well. So I think that's one of the biggest things that these dragons, that's important for people who are born this year to remember and to implement, is really taking some space for themselves, and also to remember that it's great to help out people. It's great to help out, and it's great to take care of people and to be there for people. But it's not great if it's coming at the expense of your health and sanity. And it's not great if you are giving too much, and taking away from people's autonomy. You have to give people the chance to screw up and fail and learn from their mistakes. And if you're always trying to fix everything for other people, it's not just that you can be hurting yourself, it can also be harmful for that other person. Sometimes other people really do need the chance to just do things wrong, work it out on their own, experience asking for help and you're not available because you're already overbooked. That's okay. People need to learn and grow and develop their support networks. And you should not be in a situation where it's all on you. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for anyone who's doing it. But absolutely, you can use this drive that you have to foster growth in other people in any number of amazing ways. You can, be that person who always has the best dinner parties. You can be the person who always has, the right Ford in their collection and is willing to lend it out. This is a really great mix of energies. There's incredible strength here. And yeah, you have to remember to also take some time for yourself, and to just take some time to be yourself, and see who you are without necessarily being around and interacting with others. I think I'm going to sign off now because I have been looking at this map for so long that I'm starting to doubt that water is spelled that way. It is wrong. Please don't let me know. But I hope you all have a great week. I hope to be back next week. I had some family things going on this week. Hopefully next week will actually be a normal schedule where I work the whole week through. And if you have any questions that you want answered, feel free and reach out and let me know. And in the meantime, take care. Bye.